Okay, so now we might be streaming with sound. So I've been pantomiming what I was doing the entire time, I guess. Um, yeah, let me adjust my microphone here, get it a little bit farther out towards me. Yeah, geez, that's embarrassing. I thought that my laptop had a built-in microphone. I knew the sound would be crappy, but I didn't know it would be non-existent. But evidently, it was either turned off through software, or it's having a hardware issue or driver problem, conflict with OBS, or something. So, yeah. So I've just been doing like a caricature of myself with no sound for about I don't know how long was that, 30 minutes or so. That's super awesome. So now, to recap everything, I guess I'm just going to start over. Hey, it's Mike. I'm in my basement, and I've escaped from my little workroom in my corner of my basement, and I have moved out into the main space and taken over, commandeered the sink. And why have I done that, you may ask? That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure myself, honestly. But the long and short of it is, I saw a video from another YouTuber, Roman. His name's Derbauer on his channel, I think. And he did a video about water cooling PC components, just with water straight out of the tap, run through the component, and dumped right back down the drain. No radiators, no pump, no anything. So that was an interesting concept, I thought. I don't need a big reservoir and pump. I don't need super expensive radiators. I just need a sink and some hose, and I could do all kinds of testing, water-cooled testing. I could run the sink water through maybe some coiled copper wire or copper tubing in a cooler full of ice and then chill it. Yeah, all kinds of possibilities that don't require a huge investment in hardware, an even larger investment in hardware. So that was the idea that I wanted to go through, was to incorporate into my Quadtoberfest project. So, okay, let's go back and talk about the setup, because the setup's changed completely over here, right? I was going to try to use a Threadripper 1920X on an X399 motherboard with 64 gigabyte of DDR4 memory running in quad channel as the test base, because that platform has just massive amounts of PCIe lanes. But started getting really buggy. I worked with it for days and days and days, hours and hours over the last 3-4 weeks, overclocking it, trying to get the memory speeds higher and higher, trying to get the CPU speed higher and higher while keeping it stable. And eventually I moved it all over here to start working on the water cooling setup, and it just, I don't know if it corrupted Windows, if I have a hardware issue with maybe a bad stick of RAM, because there's 8 sticks of RAM, so way more possibility of them to not like each other or not get along. Kat's here now. She's going to give her commentary on the issue with the Threadripper. But yeah, so the Threadripper went away, and now we have the Intel Core i5-10600K sitting on an MSI Mag Tomahawk Z490 motherboard. It's got 16 gigabytes of Trident Z Neo 3800 megahertz RAM, I swapped out the CPUs being cooled by an Intermax. I'm not sure what the name is. All of the Intermax CPU coolers have a really, like, not my favorite to pronounce name, like LickMax or LickTech or something. It's just LIQ. I know it's trying to be liquid or whatever, but it just seems kind of cringy. What are you licking? Why are you licking this? Why are you licking your CPU cooler? But it's a 360 mil rad. It's the cheapest one I could find from like a name brand company, even though Intermax, you know, for better or worse, has had some PR issues because of their Threadripper coolers. And so on the live stream that didn't have any sound, I was starting to overclock this, right? Just as an aside, I've got my trusty little R7 250 here as the bench GPU while we try to overclock the CPU and RAM. And that, as you can see, is going terribly. This is my second attempt to push just the turbo frequency up on the i5-10600K, and also to push the RAM frequency up on the Trident Z Neos. It wouldn't. It locked up and get B-sodded on running XMP1. I don't know why. Running 1300 watt EVGA power supply. I've got all of the power connectors populated. The Intermax is doing a pretty commendable job at cooling the 10600K, but I'm going to restart this thing now, or just do a hard shutdown and see if we can just boot back in. I don't know what's going on. It seems like it's really sketch. And you can probably hear the cat's going freaking absolutely nuts on her cat tower. Fun fact, the microphone right now is attached to her cat tower, so if the sound cuts out again, we'll know why. Yeah, what do we got? K mode exception not handled. No idea what that means. Windows 10's error codes have gotten like more and more cryptic as as we've progressed from 7 to 8, from XP to 7 to 8 to 10. Like, it seems like the error codes are way less helpful. The application or operating system couldn't be loaded because a required file is missing or contains errors. WinLoad EFI. You'll need to use recovery tools if you don't have any installation media like a disk or USB device. Press enter to try again. Well, I have a USB device. That's really frustrating. This is like the second time, and maybe it's this. I don't know. Maybe it is the same SSD. I have the same M.2 SSD that was in the Threadripper build. I just yanked that out of here because I figured it would work, but it won't. It won't work. And then it just shut itself down. So yeah, I am wondering about this SSD. It worked. It worked for a while. It worked long enough until I started messing with it. So I'm not sure that is the case. I missed the window to get into BIOS, I think. Page fault not in non-paged area. That's usually a RAM problem. These are brand new out of the box memory sticks from G-Skill. So let's go back to all core mode. Yes. Let's Let's just reset that and see if I can at least get this to work with 3000 megahertz RAM. So it's something about the all-core, or not all-core, but the boost algorithm in boot up. I'm not sure why it thinks that's no bueno. So we're gonna shut it down again. Bring her back up. Get back into BIOS. So yeah, this is the life, right? This is the overclocker, YouTube, just turning a computer off and on, over and over again. So let's see. Let's try 4.7. All right. Fixed mode. And core voltage 1.25. Oh wait, that's not what I wanted. Wrong thing. CPU core voltage 1.25. All right. And let's go with that. 4.7 all core. That's 200 megahertz over. Work like a charm. Okay. So we're at 1.25 volts, 4.7 megahertz all core. Cat is getting the microphone stand right now. So if you're hearing something funky, that's what you're hearing. She's definitely checking out why this is attached to her cat tree. Yeah, she's going nuts. All right, let's run Cinebench R20 and see what we get. Let's see, is there somewhere on, I can probably put her in the chair she likes to sit on over here. Move some junk. Too much junk. And that way everybody could see the cat. The catten, as we call her. Oh, I didn't have crap. I didn't have hardware info on. So that did definitely impact our core temps. Now we're in the 60s for 62, 64. So I think we hit 59 degrees previously. So now we're about 5 degrees hotter. Let's see. Package max, yeah, 64. We're about 5 degrees hotter running. She's going nuts. I should just have a YouTube channel where you watch my cat play, honestly. Because she's freaking, hey, don't chew the carpet. She loves this carpet I have over here on the floor. So, 4.7 all core got us 36.99. Call it 37. So it's a 150 point increase, going up a few hundred megahertz on the RAM and a couple hundred megahertz on the CPU. And our max package temp was 64 degrees Celsius. Okay, I'm going to shut it down. See if we can go 4.9 all core. Keep that same V core. Don't know how that's going to work. We could try 4.8. And then I need to do the ring ratio. Actually, also. Oh, she's in the. All right, I'll be right back while I wrangle the cat. Get. Okay, cat wrangled. Okay, don't need Steam. Hardware info. Yes. Oh wait, what am I doing? What am I doing? I didn't change anything. Shut down. She's definitely a distraction. Let me see if I can get her in a chair and have her just sit quietly. She will eventually go to sleep. There's a possibility she will get in that chair. Maybe. All right. Fire it back up. Let's get into BIOS. Try for 4.8. And we'll go 42 on the ring. Anything else? Does this stuff do 3200 megahertz? Let's see. Maybe it'll do 32. All right. We're still at 1.252 volts. Okay. So we went from 47 to 48. We went ring ratio from 40 to 42. DRAM frequency from 3000 to 3200. And push the go button. See what happens. Yes, better sound. Awesome. Awesomer. Because I can't type. All right. Close that. Hardware info. Yes. Sensors only. Cinebench. All right. We're at 4.8 gigahertz. We're 1.255 volts. Cinebench taking a minute to open up. There it goes. And run. Yep, 4.8 gigahertz. Same basic temps here. High 90s, 61, maybe 62 degrees. Cat doesn't like it. Cat's like, you can do 5.2. Do it. How is the video? YouTube says the
temp is 64 degrees. Even though we went up 100 megahertz, we're staying at the same max temps. Oh, 1 degree. We did get 1 degree higher, but we went up a couple more 100 points. 3,800. Not bad.
All right. I feel like 5 gigahertz probably doable. We'll see. See how it goes. Yeah. .9. We're going to bump the ring ratio to 43. And we're going to bump TDR4 300 megahertz. Yes. So, as you can see, 480p and fine. Alright, I can deal with that. As you can see, it's nearly time for a libation break. That doesn't take me very long. I'm fairly practiced. Finger guns. So this is the distractor in chief. This is Foxglove. She is the newest addition to our family. And she does not particularly like being picked up. So I'm going to put her on this little pedestal chair over here. See if she'll stay there. Maybe she'll curl up and be quiet, but probably not. Nope, she's immediately going to try to play with the water fitting. Awesome. Okay. Okay, she did lay down on the chair mostly. All right. She just wants to feel like she's being included. So, there we go. And there goes the water fitting. You knocked it over. You terrible thing. Okay. So we got 3805 on the last run. This is what I'm dealing with. This is, underbelly of the YouTube algorithm, basement living at its finest, trying to overclock a multi-$100 computer test setup, and the cat is just like having at it. So, yeah. Wouldn't trade her for the world, but she's really quite terrible. So, what do we got for temps? Running at 4.9. Package 64 degrees. A little bit early to hit 64. We're not even we're just about hit to halfway. So we'll probably hit 65. Yep, or 66 probably. Just still more than acceptable. This is a pretty, don't chew my pliers. It's a pretty acceptable temp range. I think we should be able to get through Fire Strike, no problem with it. So I haven't talked about, since I restarted the stream and we got well, I have a husky too, Mishka, actually. But he's a super weirdo and refuses to walk down the stairs to come into the basement. So it's just the way it is. Alright, so 3886, so we added another 80 points onto the score. Actually only got the 65 degrees package temp, so that's pretty awesome. We're going to push this up again to, I think this will put us at 5 gigahertz. And I'm okay at 5 gigahertz. I think that's more than enough speed to run to run the GPUs I have. Oh my God, it just seems kind of ludicrous now that I actually think about it and say it out loud. To run the GPUs that I have in question on this motherboard and CPU combo, just seems ridiculous. But we're gonna do it anyway, so because we're having fun. So yeah. We're going to get this bad boy to 5 gigahertz. I'm going to run it on a loop of Cinebench for probably at least 5 minutes. And while that's happening, we'll talk about the GPUs that we're going to run, the water through the sink, and I don't remember if I even got through the story about where I found the idea to do this, because the cat has been very distracting. So final settings on this setup for right now. I might tinker with the memory some more later. We're doing a 50 CPU ratio, so 5 gigahertz, 44 on the ring ratio, so 4,400 megahertz, and 3333 on the RAM, which is pretty disappointing considering this is 38 megahertz RAM. But I don't know. I think the issue was I was trying to do just a boost overclock. I didn't want to do an all-core overclock. I just wanted to boost it up. I just wanted it to be able to boost up a little bit higher, because I think right now it's set at 4.9 is the boost clock for this GPU out of the box. And I wanted it to boost to 4.2 on 1 or 2 cores possibly, but it wouldn't do it. So I haven't tried enabling XMP again since I've started this this particular line of overclocking. Hardware info, yes. Sensors only. Cinebench R20. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go to preferences. We're going to do, I want this to run for 600 seconds. No. I can't do basic math. That would be 10 minutes. I want 300 seconds. 300 seconds. 5 minutes. Okay. And so we're going to run a loop of Cinebench R20. I'm going to clear my min-maxes. So we are running at 5 gigahertz. The core VID is at 1.254. And we crashed. Alright, so 5 gigs at 1.25 is not going to happen. So I'm going to boost. Pretty happy actually with the temps, so we could probably push like a little bit more voltage if we need to. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to push the voltage up to 1.27 volts. I keep doing that. No. I keep clicking the wrong damn. Not 1. I do not want CPU SA voltage at 1.27. I want CPU core voltage at 1.27. Okay. Actually, 1.27. Come on. Okay. And so core voltage going from 1.252 to 1.275. Yes. Let's see if that gets us stable. Just hammer a little bit more voltage through those 6 cores and see if that
gets it to where it'll run Cinebench at 5 gigahertz. We know it will boot into Windows at 5 gigahertz. So you're telling me there's a chance. It's all a matter of voltage versus temperature. Now, what can we sustain with this 360 mil rad and making sure I don't fry my literally like brand new 10600K, because that's important to me. Not frying the CPU is important to me. Mishka in Russia, it's often used as a diminutive of the version of Michael. I did not know that. I did not know that. I thought Mikhail. I didn't. So Mishka is like Mikhail. Interesting. All right. Because that's, you know, I grew up in the 80s, and Mikhail Gorbachev was the leader of the USSR, and people would say that I was like a Russian or whatever. It was, you know, kids in school say dumb stuff. Okay. So we're at 5,000 megahertz on the core, idling in the mid 20s. We have our 300 seconds of Cinebench. Run that bad boy. .67 degrees on the core. So if this makes it through the first pass, I'm gonna go grab a drink. Says I've got 2 viewers. I don't know who the other one is. If you're the other viewer and you're not, who's not Mishka out there watching me, put something in the chat. If this makes it through the first pass, so we're getting up to 70 degrees. That's okay. I'd like to keep it below 75. I feel like that's like the danger zone where, you know, bad things could happen. So let me see. If this makes it through in the first pass, I'm going to do a little refill action. Oh my God. Okay. The cat's going to sleep on the cat tower. If you heard some kind of weird thumping sound, it was her jumping up to the top tier for cat tower, which made the microphone like around. Okay, first pass is through. We are at 70 degrees in the package. I'm cool with that. Libation, refill, BRB. Okay, I'm back. New GPUs, NVIDIA or AMD? How do I answer this question? First off, I haven't had hands-on with a new GPU in super long time. My personal rig that I was going to link up with the 10600K has going to have a GTX 1080 Ti in it. AMD has a long and storied history of not delivering on Radeon promises. Vega, even Navi, even though my son's computer has a 5700 XT and it's a great GPU for the money. And that's, I think, going to be true after the Big Navi launch. I think Big Navi will be great for the money. AMD is not going to beat the 3090. But the 3090 is like, there was a Craigslist ad I saw today, $3,000, somebody trying to scalp a 3090. Once NVIDIA gets the supply side figured out, which you're probably looking at Q1 of 2021, deep into Q1 of 2021. So I'm saying like February, March timeframe is when you'll be able to just walk into Best Buy, walk into Micro Center, or like log on to Newegg, and they're just going to be in stock, right? March of next year for the 3080 or 3090. The price to performance proposition of a 3090 is terrible. You're paying so much money for that last 10% of performance, right? But it's the best. It's going to be the best even after the rise of the Big Navi Radeon 6000 series launches. The 3090 is still going to be the best GPU that you can buy for any amount of money. I think that's true. What I envision happening is that the 6000 series is going to compete with the 3080 on price, but not performance. I think the 6000 series is going to make the 3070 irrelevant, right? So if you're in that tier of market, if you're looking at spending like $600 on a GPU, then the Radeon's probably going to be for you. And it's going to be so much better than the 3070 that the $500 price tag of the 3070 is just going to seem like silliness. And it's going to be close enough to the 3080 that you'll wonder why you're spending an additional $100 for 10% performance gain, right? And that's basically what happened with the reason I bought the 5700 XT. I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked because I wanted an all-white PC build for my son, and I wanted it and I was looking at 2070 Supers and 5700 XTs, and I just saw a video today on YouTube with the newest the newest drivers. The 5700 XT is now like, it's trading blows back and forth with a 2080 Super in like 14 games. That was a crazy video to watch. Yeah, there's some games where the 2080 Super is like, 10 FPS, 15 FPS ahead. But the 2080 Super was literally twice the price, right? So that's what I think. AMD is going to be the value leader. That proposition's not going to change, right? But NVIDIA is still going to maintain the top tier king. If you absolutely need 4K gaming, you're probably going to buy NVIDIA. If you're at 1080p or 1440p, you're probably going to buy AMD. That's my take on that. All right. But we are a long way away from 3080s and big Navi Radeon 6000s in this camp. I do have 2 Radeon GPUs behind me, and they're old, but they got water blocks, and one of them is hooked up to my sink. And we're going to, so I did finish 5 minutes of Cinebench at 5 gigahertz with, I think I put 1.275 volts, and our max temperature on the package was 72 degrees. I am A-okay with that. So we're going to close all this out. Actually, so we're going to do the old shift power, restart. Oh, I did the wrong thing. Not shift power, shift restart. Man. Of course, I totally messed that up. So when this comes back, I'll do it the right way to get into the safe mode. Sometimes my brain knows the words but can't get my mouth to say the words. Okay. So if you don't know how to get into safe mode, how to automatically boot yourself into safe mode if you need to, what you do is you press the Windows key, power, you hover over restart, and hold down the shift key and click restart, and that will get you into the Windows settings restart menu like this. So what we want to do is troubleshoot and go to advanced options and go to startup settings and restart, and it'll restart, and when it pops back up it'll give me a numbered option menu, and I'll go into option number 4, which is safe mode. Yep, enable safe mode, number 4, boop. And this is what you have to do in order to run the device driver uninstaller, DDU. Okay, black background screen. So I got DDU here. You got right click and run as administrator. Did I do that wrong? That's what I wanted. I've only done this like a million times, but still can't remember how to get this set up. Run as administrator. So you get DDU and driver installer, actually the right shortcut from your file tree there, and run as administrator. Close that. This seems to be first time. Okay. Close that. So we're going to select a device. It'll be GPU. And this is a Radeon R7 250. So we're going to clean and shut down the AMD GPU drivers off of there. And then we're going to install a EK full coverage water blocked Radeon HD 6970. But Mike, you say, this is Quadtoberfest. The 6970 is a single GPU card. That is all true. But one of the questions I wanted to ask in Quadtoberfest, as we kind of like hopefully march through my collection of dual GPU cards, is it better in 2020 to have Quadfire, to have a single version of the GPU you have, or four of them, right? In Quadfire, cross Quadfire. So we're gonna and we're not gonna do this for every version of Quadfire, because I don't have a single GPU version of every card I have in dual GPU versions. But I do have a 6970 that we're going to compare to this 6990. But first, we're going to run the 6970. So this is it, and you know, it's not in the best shape. I can't remember if I tested this one even. This is basically in the exact same shape that it was mailed to me in. I bought it off of eBay. Yeah. So there's that. So I am, in fact, going to mount this janky water cooling setup onto this motherboard. Yes. And I'm going to point this outlet far away. Bend that back around some. Okay. All right. So, water's going to come. I have this special, so I don't know if you can see, but I bought this on Amazon. I can put a link in the description. This is a faucet adapter that has a 1/4-inch nipple that comes out of the side of it, and it's like, and it has a little, I can turn this on or off. So if this is pointing straight down, I can turn my faucet on and water just comes right out the bottom of it. And then if I turn this faucet, turn that little lever, then water flows through the GPU block. And I can use my sink to vary the rate of flow. And I've already tested this, there's no leaks. This GPU block is pretty gross and corroded inside. So I ran it in reverse flow and big chunks came out. Solid, right? But yeah, we're gonna do her anyway. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna run it. We're just, what's the dude say on the jet ski? I'm just gonna send it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna send it. So I got some VGA cables over here. Yeah. Where are we at? Give me my two primaries that don't have daisy chain pins. Yeah, that's what I want. That's the ones right there. I don't want those daisy chain chicaneries. Alright. Tuck those back over there for when we have to break this bad boy out for the quads. Alright. Two 8-pin, actually one 8-pin, one 6-pin. On a 6970. You know, I don't really even know much about this GPU. I think it's 2 gigs of video of VRAM. I think maybe it's 1.5. Somebody comment, what's the how much VRAM does a 6970 have? Because I have no idea. It's got a full EK water block on it. It's being chilled with groundwater in Maryland, and if I had to guess, this is definitely below ambient, but it's not cold enough to like where it would be below dew point. Let's see, Mishka says, I think I will wait as NVIDIA coming out with 7nm versions of their cards in about 9 months or so. Early adopters lucked out. I haven't heard that NVIDIA was going to transition to a 7nm process, maybe on the 4000 series cards. I know that the 3000, the 3080 and the 3090 are both running Samsung silicon on an 8nm process that was kind of custom tweaked by Samsung for NVIDIA. They call it 8N process. But if you're looking at 8-9 months out, you know, the world's your oyster. I think you're going to have, I don't even think you have to look that far. I think if you're looking to buy a graphics card, I would say that March is going to be the time period in the next 6 months where you're going to be able to see both of your options fully formed, right? AMD versus NVIDIA. What do they really bring to the table? What does the 3070 performance look like? What is the mid-tier Ryzen or Radeon 6000 series looks like? You're actually going to be able to like kind of see how those play out. Okay. All right. Boot sequence. First, we got to turn the water on. Get water flow in here. Okay. I got water flow. I got flow through the GPU, and gonna light this bad boy off. Oh, you know, you gotta attach HDMI cable to it. That's a thing you gotta do. Rebooted itself. It's not the most promising sign. Oh, maybe. There is no graphics output protocol support detected in this graphics card. Oh, is an HD 6972 old? Does it not support a UEFI? A UEFI BIOS to motherboard? I was not expecting that. I thought a 6970 would be new enough, but maybe I'm wrong. So, in order for this to not be a total waste of time, even though I did get a good overclock on my 10600K, let me go see if I've got a water blocked card that we can mess around with here. So this is not going to be the stream that I had hoped for, but we're going to make something out of nothing. So I don't have a 580, but I do have a 680. This is a GeForce GTX 680 from Asus. This is a 4 gigabyte card, 4 gig of memory card. But it's not, as you can see, water cooled. So that's not the best. I don't think I have a 680 block either. So again, we're just gonna send it. I'm just gonna throw this 680 on here, see what's what. But I do have a water cooled GTX 690, which, as you know, you can see this. You can see the screw pattern in the back there. That is a dual GPU card. This is an EVGA signature GeForce GTX 690 Hydro Copper, powered by SwiftTech, and it's in really good shape. Oh, it's still got a little bit of water in the block there. So I am going to have to remove some fittings. Oh, that would come out pretty easily there. Throw some of these Alpha Cool fittings on here, because I'm using 3/8 inch inner diameter hose. So put one there, and then yeah, it's fine. And then put one on this side. So all is not lost. Although we won't be doing the 2 cards I had originally hoped for. We're going to go with Team Green instead of Team Red. And, you know, I'll have to go find a DVI to HDMI adapter cable. That was the biggest reason I chose these HD 69 6000 series cards, was because, oh well, this one doesn't have it, because the 6970 does have a full-size HDMI port on it. This has mini display port and DVIs. I have a bunch of DVI to HDMI adapters that I'll just have to go dig around with. So I'll be off camera for a little while I do that. Everybody doing okay out there? Okay, I got 2 concurrent viewers. Alright, so yeah, changing up the script here a little bit. So the GTX 690 versus the GTX 680 4 gig version of the card here. Get this off of my motherboard for now. Okay. Rapidly running out of room. Alright. So, GTX 680 4 gig. Let's see what we got going on here. It lights up, so that's promising. We got 2 6-pin connectors on this bad boy. So, go. Ooh, didn't sound the greatest. That didn't break? No? Okay. And just that clacking on there. Alright. Those are both in there. 2 6-pin connectors on a GTX 680. So we are going to have to go. I don't have the drivers downloaded for these. This was not the cards that I expected to use. This one does have a full-size HDMI out, so that is helpful. Alright, let's hit the go button on these guys and see what we get. Fan spin up, display out. That's a good sign, right? Hey-o, hey-o River. If you got a GTX 680 water block and you want to see me try this again, hit me up. Okay. So first things first, let's go find a NVIDIA driver for a GTX 680. Bing, I hate you so much. Official GeForce drivers for NVIDIA. And then, so the product line is GeForce. And the product series, no, these are not GeForce. This is Legacy. Manual driver search. drivers are on the way. Hopefully they work. This is a pretty fast computer, though, I have to say. Like the 10600K paired with the Samsung NVMe drive is pretty smoking quick. Oh my god, things are falling. Okay, so while the 680 drivers install, let's uninstall the water block here from the HD 6970. That really sucks. I didn't think about this graphics card because the 7970 still works pretty well with Windows 10. Like, it supports UEFI and all of that stuff, right? So that was just not something that even had like crossed my mind. Was hey, this is not going to work with this not with this UEFI BIOSed motherboard. But evidently it's something that should have crossed my mind. So there's that, you know, live and learn. Figure stuff out as you go. That's the way I mostly do everything. Figure stuff out as I go. Okay, it looks like NVIDIA GeForce Experience. Alright, so for the older cards that I have, because I have a bunch, I have 6970 and 6990 going all the way back to like the GTX 295X2 and the 3870 x2. So those are going to be older video cards that I assume are not going to run on my Quadtoberfest project here, which is a shame. I could have swore there was a way that those could run, but anyway, yeah, go away, GeForce Experience. Now this says game ready drivers available. What am I doing with my life? Okay, so let's get the GTX 690 prepped here. Okay, so this is the supply line. And then this is the return line. Okay. So 690 is ready to roll in. Probably should have gotten some shop towels. It's a little bit wet, a little bit damp over here. Alright. Game ready driver update. So I'm running in GeForce 353.62 and it says 381.65 works. Let's try it. Unable to connect. I don't know why you're unable to connect, because we're on the internet. So what is this? GeForce 353.62. .62 is what GeForce Experience tells me that I want. So let's download that guy. So I'm assuming I'm still connected. I don't know how if the video quality's gotten any better or worse. I'm in a streaming war with my daughter, who's streaming baking cookies upstairs on Instagram. So we're in a bandwidth war in the house. I don't know how that's going. So yeah, because I'm streaming and downloading all kinds of crap. It's all happening over, you know, kind of terrible Xfinity Wi-Fi. It's like super far away from where I am, through a floor and a couple of rooms, and she's like 10 feet away from the hotspot. So yeah, she'd probably beat me out for like actual ping or whatever. So we're gonna try and download newer drivers. It says it's gonna take a really long time to download. You know what else I didn't download? Man, I'm a freaking rookie over here. I didn't download freaking MSI Afterburner, and that is a problem. So, other than my complete lack of preparedness for this stream, yeah. Mishka, you got any more questions? So I see two concurrent viewers right now. Mishka, you're the only one who's interacted in the chat. Who's the other viewer out there? Can you just like, hey, give a wave, like, hey, what's up? I'm your other viewer. I'm not weird stalking you, cyber stalking you, Mike. It's cool that you're in your basement. Nothing? Alright, fine. Let's see. Oh, okay, so it did finish downloading, so that was good. Wait. Did this just take... Whoa, I just downloaded the same driver 2 times. Makes no sense. Alright. So 381.65 is what I wanted, not... Ugh, man. Attention to detail, Private Ramsey. Alright, 381.65. Windows 10. This is what I want, for sure. 381.65 WHK, Windows 10, and it supports this GTX 680. Yes. Download it. Save it to the drive. I will purge you. Okay, and Afterburner. I don't want the beta. save it. All right. So for me, like the more quality is good, some people are too chatty. That's fine. They don't have to be chatty. Just wondered who else is out there. I'm gonna pull up the stool here while we download our stuff. So for me, you know, the biggest question, I guess, is not which GPU you should buy. It's which CPU you should buy, right? Ryzen 5000 is coming soon, and it is a beast, right? But it's not a cheap beast anymore. Ryzen 3000 was a cheap beast. If you bought a Ryzen 5 3600 or a Ryzen 7 3700X, you got the deal of the century. You got so much processing power, and you didn't pay a lot for it unless you were a super early adopter. There were times in the last year you could go buy a 3600 for less than $200, and you could buy a 3700 for like right at 300, and I think I saw it even for less, like 289 or something like that. That's crazy value compared to Intel's offering, especially if you need your PC to do something that's not play games, right? If you are a CAD or a graphic designer and you use thread-bound applications that need a lot of processing power and don't solely rely on core clock speed, looking at you, Adobe Photoshop, then yeah, you got a really good deal with Ryzen 3000. Ryzen 5000 is a really powerful platform, but it's not as good a deal, which is like kind of a downer, right? So you'll notice that I don't have a Ryzen system here. My personal gaming rig was not going to be Ryzen based. So I have a 10600K. My plan is to upgrade to the next generation of Rocket Lake CPUs. MSI, MSI's ethics have kind of been in the toilet recently. They've had some faux pas go down, right? But they've been pretty much telling everybody that this motherboard can and will support PCIe 4.0, and Intel has hinted that the next generation of Comet Lake? What is this? Comet Lake? Rocket Lake? I don't know. Lake 11th gen desktop CPUs will support PCIe 4.0. So that kind of that limits one of the upper hands that that Ryzen can claim. And really, PCI 4.0 is there still aren't noticeable gains to be had in the GPU frame rate gaming space between PCIe 3.0 times 16 and 4.0 times 16. But SSD, NVMe, PCIe based storage solutions, solid state drives, M.2 drives, have definitely been able to take advantage of PCIe 4.0, and the data transfer rates are just astonishing. So if you're a photo or video editor and you have a scratch drive, and if you're a photo or video editor, you'll know what a scratch drive is, or you should. The time it takes to transfer your photo or video back and forth from your scratch drive to your main drive with PCIe 4.0 and a really high-end SSD is like half or less, or more, I should say, reduced by half or more. And I think that's really where PCIe 4.0 is useful to people. It's not really useful to gamers yet. and I think games are going to get harder and harder to run, and the bandwidth between the CPU and GPU may not matter as much. Maybe they they will get to a point where they transfer so much data back and forth between the CPU and GPU that they need that. That the GPU can saturate those lanes. But GPUs aren't there yet. GPUs aren't to the point where they can saturate even PCIe 3.0 times 16 regularly, and the improvements are just around the margins. But it'll be interesting to see if Intel has anything to reply to AMD's 5000 series. But if they don't, I would definitely not expect the Ryzen 5000 series pricing to go down anytime soon. We've typically seen the introductory prices of Ryzen chips be set at one point, and then 6 months later, 3 months later even, you're getting retailer discounts of $10, $20, $30, maybe even more in some instances. If Intel doesn't have a compelling answer in their 11th gen desktop, and that 11th gen desktop better be on socket 1200, LGA 1200, which is what this 10th gen is, or people are going to bring out the pitchforks and torches on Intel. But if Intel introduces a completely different socket for desktop 11th gen, or if desktop 11th gen just doesn't even move the needle when it comes to competing with Ryzen 5000, those prices are going to stay. And that is a shame, because it means the price to performance value of Ryzen 5000 goes down considerably. They pushed the manufacturer's suggested retail price up $50 or more on every level of chip, and if Intel is going to let AMD run amok with the price with the performance crown with Ryzen 5000, and they don't have a return salvo soon, then there's no reason for AMD to reduce their prices. That's how markets work. I have the best product. If you want it, you'll pay what I ask, or you won't have the best. That's just the way it is, right? Interesting times. All right, back to it. Let's see what we can do with this GTX 684 gig. All right. Let's see. I'm going to close all the tabs there. I'm going to close Steam. And I'm going to close the GeForce Experience. Let's extract MSI Afterburner. Now that I think about it, there has got to be a way to get this 6970 to run on this platform, because the hardware bot 3D Mark Firestrike record for 6970 was done on an X299 platform. So somebody help me figure out how I get this 6970 to run on a Z490 motherboard, because that's going to drive me crazy. Yeah, that should work. If it runs on an X299, that's a UEFI BIOS motherboard. That's a modern processor and motherboard. There should be no reason. There should be not a dime's worth of difference between what you can get to run on a Z490 versus what you can get to run on an X299. Okay. All right, MSI Afterburner works. Close that. All right, so now we got to go through the DDU again. All right, we're going to troubleshoot. I'm going to go advanced options, startup settings, restart. Average watch time's 50 minutes. Man, I can't believe people would watch me for 50 minutes, honestly. Like, I'm a maniac. Why would you... Actually, no, you're a maniac. Why would you subject yourself to me for 50 minutes? Oh, wait. Now it says average watch time's an hour and 14 minutes. Okay, YouTube. You're drunk. Go home. Not true. AMD is going to support B450 with the 5000 series, but you won't get your BIOS update till January. So, but from the November launch date, availability date, through the end of the year, if you buy a Ryzen CPU in those months, so November, December basically, you will not be able to socket that into an X470 or B450 motherboard and have it work supposedly. Even though I have an X470 motherboard and it's got a new BIOS download that was just put out like in early October. I don't know, but AMD did promise X470 and B450 support, but they promised it next year, right? So you will get your BIOS download and flash availability for those motherboards in Q1 of 2021. I don't know if that's really like the smartest play for AMD, but what I will tell you is, well, it might be, because what that means is if you're an X470 or B450 owner, which in my mind make up the vast majority of AMD Ryzen owners, because those are just the best of both worlds, right? Those two, the 400 series motherboards are the best of both worlds. You get good price to performance ratio and, you know, X, Y, and Z, but you don't get PCIe 4.0. That only comes on 500 series motherboards. Let's see, GPU type, what is this? This is NVIDIA. Yep, clean. Oh, wait, what am I gonna do this first. I like to take the Wi-Fi adapter out. Otherwise, Windows will try to install some BS driver if there's no driver there. Clean and restart after you take the GeForce GTX. So, B450 and X470 are supported for Ryzen 5000, but not at launch. They will be supported in January. So what that does for AMD is it allows them to have a launch in November with maybe limited availability, but the people who will want those CPUs are only going to be people with 500 series motherboards. So you may not have just the absolute crunch of people like rushing out to buy these CPUs, you know, because they won't be able to use them unless they own a 500 series motherboard. So could be smart, could be kind of not smart on AMD's, depending on how you look at it. If they want to sell the absolute maximum number of CPUs in November, December, January timeframe, and they should have already unlocked B450 and X470 motherboard support for them. But if they're going to be constrained on the supply side, which they probably are because of coronavirus and world events or whatnot, you want to call them, if they're constrained on the supply side, then it makes sense that they would also constrain the number of consumers who could theoretically use the product. And I think that's what you'll find is what's going on there. Okay, downloads. So this is going to be an interesting comparison. I think what I'm going to wrap up with, hopefully if I can get through this whole thing, is what do we get with, we're just going to run 3D Mark Firestrike. What kind of Firestrike scores do we see on the GTX 480, or GTX 680 4 gig? So this is like an upper tier version of the GTX 680 versus the GTX 690, which, if memory serves me, that is a card where each of the GPUs have 2 gigabytes of RAM each, right? They do not get to pool that RAM. So each of those GeForce 680 GPUs is only going to be getting 2 gigs of RAM instead of access to a total of 4 gigs of RAM. Whereas this single GTX 680 GPU is going to have a full 4 gig of GDDR5 memory to play with. And I wonder how that's going to play out in Firestrike scores. I'm going to try to overclock the 680 and the 690 a little bit just to see, especially we got this water block, we got the sink set up. That's the whole point of the sink, really, in my mind, is it's kind of like slightly chilled water. It's definitely below ambient. It's definitely cooler than the air in this room, so it's going to be more effective than a radiator setup would be. I want to see how far I can push a 690 on subambient water. I wouldn't go so far as to call it chilled water, but it's just not room temperature. It should be like its own unique class of water cooling, like non-recaptured, non-recirculated water. All right. So the 380.65 drivers are installing. It looks like it's working. It's working. So yeah, let's not jinx it. So Mishka, did that answer your query as far as the B450 and 5000 series goes? I think the best bang for the buck motherboard CPU combo in 2021 is going to be a Ryzen 5 5600X on a B450 motherboard. I think that is absolutely going to be a slayer for price to performance and value. But again, and I think the 5900X is going to really take it to the upper tiers of the Intel Core lineup. I don't want to log into GeForce Experience. Leave me alone. Okay. So, gonna launch MSI Afterburner. Gonna go into settings. We're gonna unlock voltage control and monitoring, force constant voltage, and apply. Yes. All right. And let's see. Hardware info also. Do we need hardware info? Maybe. It's fine. All right. So right now we're sitting at package temperature of 27 degrees. GPU temperature of 32 degrees. Gonna leave the fans at auto for now. No overclock supplied whatsoever, other than we're going to slide the voltage and the power limits to max. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna max out voltage and power. No overclock, no memory overclock. Stock fan curve, actually, I'm just going to make the fan curve a little bit more aggressive in ramp up. Okay, and let's go to 3D mark. Oh, now we gotta have Wi-Fi. All right, Fire Strike on a GTX 680, 4 gig, sitting on a 10600K. Send it. I'm interested in how this 4 gig, how old is the GTX 680? What is this, like 2015? 2015, 2016, 2014? Somewhere in there. So it's either like 5 or 6 years old, I think. How does this compare to like an RX 570 4 gig? Better? Worse? Looks like it might be a little bit worse. Yeah, we're at like 30 frames a second right now. Where's Brett from my Discord channel? He will know how to get a 6970 to work on a UEFI BIOSed motherboard. That guy, he is like the old hardware king. Haven't seen him in the Discords in a while. I haven't been in Discord in a while. Haven't had much to say. You know, I've had like tons of house stuff going on, and then I got slammed with some car stuff, you know. Car had a bunch of stuff I had to do to it, so it took forever. Took a lot of weekends, you know. I finally finished it up to repair and replace a bunch of components. Stuff's stupid expensive if you pay a mechanic. I got like a $3,000 mechanic bill or mechanic estimate, and I was just like, hold up. So, oh man, we're getting 70 FPS in the CPU side of the benchmark. That is like absolutely freaking crushing it. That's pretty funny. So that took me away from the buying a house, moving, upgrading a house, and then work's been crazy because of COVID. So doing all that kind of stuff has really taken me away from the channel. And then also I buy refurbish and resell, flip if you will, computers, and I've been trying to do that too, keep up with that side of the business. So it's a big deal. It's taken a lot of time to get back to this. So this says 7319 on a 680. Now what I don't know is what the hardware bot score on a 680 is. Let's see, GTX 680. Video cards. Because that would definitely crush the best score for a 6970 on hardware bot for sure. Let's see, 3D Mark, Firestrike, 10,611. So we're far away from that. That was on using an i9-9900K. Wow, somebody put a GTX 680 on an i9-9900K. That is impressive. I give it to you. Good job there. Doesn't say. Oh yeah, he was on liquid nitrogen. Man, that's that's pretty hardcore. So is there a way for me to find the, like, this is an extreme run. So I'm pretty bummed that I couldn't get the 6970 to work. I'll go back to the salt mines here, see if I can figure out what I need to do to get a 6970 to run on a UEFI motherboard, because it's been done. And then I will attempt to go to do this exact same thing. I wish I had a 680 water block so that I could throw it on this bad boy and we could compare the the sync water cooling to between a 680 with 4 gigs and a 690 where the two GPUs split 2 gigs of memory. I wonder like how that's gonna play out in the benchmark results. But we're gonna work it up here. I'm probably not going to beat a GTX 680 on liquid nitrogen though, so that's probably not going to happen. I got to figure out how to sort and filter the hardware bot. The cat's awake, by the way, so yeah, she's about to like destroy the mic mount. Let me try and fix that real fast. Yes, kid. Anyway, where were we at? Yeah, GTX 680 water block. Don't think I got one. So I wonder how far back into my motherboard collection I'm going to have to dig if I can't get these cards to work on a Z490 on a modern motherboard, or what the workaround is. All questions for a different live stream. 7462, so that brought us up a little bit. So our max GPU temperature is 58, or yeah, 61. What's our CPU temperature looking like? Core clocks are at 1124. CPU temperature low 50s, mid to low 50s. So, didn't take the core clock. Lots of waiting around on live streams. I feel like I always feel kind of awkward on live streams because, you know, you basically have to fill these kind of like, you know, long silent gaps while we wait for some benchmark to run. You know, it just doesn't make for like extremely compelling YouTube content. But, you know, I appreciate Mishka for having some questions for the group and letting me pontificate on what I think about NVIDIA versus AMD Ryzen. Cat, do not jump on that. I was hoping she'd come just like jump on me, but she won't. She's just scratching the jabbers out of her cat tree, which is what it's for. But yeah. What else? What other news is there? You know, I see news articles like every once in a while. Hey, SSD prices are going down, or RAM prices are going down, or this, that, or the other thing. You know, like it's going to be cheap. So don't buy it right now. It'll be cheap soon, or whatever. And I can't really find any like rhyme or reason as to, you know, why RAM or SSD prices go down. I've seen articles that made good, that, you know, had good reasons for why they might go up. You there was like factory outage, like a power outage at a factory in Korea that caused them to lose like, you know, a crap ton of production time, and some of the NAND chips that go in SSDs and on RAM got, you know, destroyed in the process, or when they lost when they lost power or whatever. So that makes sense, but I can't really ever find a very compelling reason why they think RAM or memory prices, whether it's RAM or hard drives, would go down. It always seems just like more speculative. Oh, well, we think, you know, not like this event happened and it's actually going to cause X, Y, and Z to happen to the RAM prices. But I've seen several recently that all speculated that RAM price and SSD price would go down in the next quarter. I don't know. I'm not sure if I buy it. Oh, we're creeping up to 8,000 there. That was good. Let's go with, let's see, 100, so 115. So what was our actual GPU clock on that one? Core clock was 1215. Yeah, so 1230, and then 50, and then run it again. Just run it again. That's what you do when you're overclocking. You just run it again. Run it again, run it again, run it again. But I want to see how far I can get this memory clock up, because that is this single 684 gigs secret weapon against that 690 with the 2 gigs per CPU or GPU over there. CPU temps are hanging in there really good. They're all, you know, mid to low 50s on every run, even when it's doing the you do see them shoot up. Like right now, the CPU is barely engaged whatsoever. It's using like maybe 1 or 2 cores, so it's probably 30 degrees or so. But you know, when we go to the CPU physics benchmark, you will see the temperature rise up, and it hits, you know, mid to low 50s. That's pretty sustainable. Yeah, you know, I don't know if I haven't done a whole comprehensive bit of testing on this Intermax 360 degree AIO. This is the first time I've run it. Literally today is the first time it's been switched on. So I do have some more test ideas for it, just to see, you know, what does the cheapest all-in-one cooler off of. This is the cheapest I could find on eBay and Newegg and eBay, or Amazon, Newegg, and eBay. That was the cheapest name brand one I could find. There were some other, you know, obviously direct from China import 360 AIOs that that were for sale on Amazon and Newegg, but I wanted to keep with, you know, a reputable brand. What's the cheapest? What is the cheapest 360 mil AIO get you? So far, it's doing a commendable job of keeping the temps on this 10600K in check. So that's not bad. It's not a bad start, I should say. Yeah, we're still seeing 70 frames a second in the physics benchmark. Cat, don't chew the carpet, please. Please don't chew the carpet. She took a nap on the cat tower, and now she's running amok all over the place down here. You just want to be part of the show. My daughter and I were talking the other day about, or earlier today actually, about the cat basically has two facial expressions, like mean and confused. That's pretty much the only thing you see out of her. 7940 is good. We're creeping up on 1,000 or 8,000. Okay, so if we can beat 8,000, I think I'll leave it there on the 4 gig and see what we can get with the 690, I should say. What else can we talk about? What else we got going on this rig? Trident Z Neos. I'm not sure. So yeah, I'm going to when we get done with this next run, if we break 8,000, I am going to go back into the BIOS and see what was going on. I wonder if maybe my attempt to only overclock or only boost the the boost frequencies. The cat is going ham on my mic stand right now. I'm sorry. I tried to originally, when I started to overclock this thing, instead of doing an all-core overclock, I wanted to see if I could only overclock the boost frequency, and that seemed to not be stable or not be very usable. And it was giving me weird errors. So now I want to see, I've got these set, these are 3,800 megahertz DIMMs, and I've got them set at like 3,300 megahertz right now. I want to see if, with my 5 gigahertz all-core OC, I want to see if I can get that XMP setting. And maybe if we break 8,000 this time, I'll see if I go in and set it to XMP1, and then go back and run one more Firestrike test here to see if we get anything out of that, out of having the RAM actually run it at its XMP settings. Can you guys hear the cat like doing crap to the? She's like going freaking nuts on her cat tree. She's never done this that I've ever seen. She's causing the mic stand to be kind of jank. Oh, more jank, I should say. I'm about to like make her go upstairs. Okay, we broke 8,000, 8,020, so that's cool. And then let's shut this bad boy down. See if we can get XMP to work on this. Okay, hold on. I got to do something about the cat. Get down from there. Run away. Shoot. See if we can get XMP to work on this bad boy here. Alright, so yeah, we were at 3333. So we're going to enable XMP. Auto frequency. Alright. We'll see what that gets us. I don't have a whole lot of hope. Hopefully, come on, G-Skill, Trident Z Neo. For what I paid for those things, they should freaking run. Okay. Alright, so we got 5 gigahertz all core, XMP enabled. Probably should have just gone for that from the get-go. Let's see. Oh, yeah. So we're at 8020 on 3D Mark, running at 3333 on the RAM. I don't think we were really RAM speed limited, but you know, we'll see how it goes here. And I didn't save my last settings, so I'm pretty sure it was 130 on the core and 250 on the memory, and maxed that out. Yeah. Okay. So 5 gigahertz all core on the 10600K, XMP1 on 3800 megahertz G-Skill RAM, and then GTX 680 sitting at 130 on the plus 130 on the core, plus 250 on the memory, 100 millivolts over, and 132% of the power limit. We had, okay, I think we had 8020 on the last run. Let's run it once more and see what we get. And then we're going to switch over to our sync chilled GTX 690 and see if that gets us, I don't know, see if that gets us anything. This is remember, this is a 4 gigabyte Asus card. Just yelling at me all the time. I will say the Intermax cooler is not the quietest. Yeah, I'll do a full review of that thing do a full review video of that cooler here shortly. Well, I will promise shortly. Nothing happens shortly around here, but I will do it eventually. I can promise eventually. That 10600K though, that keeps the frame rates on this the physics benchmark really high compared to a lot of the Ryzen CPUs that I have worked with. Like, I mean, yeah, Ryzen 2600 got nothing on a 10600K. That thing is cooking. It is, kitten. It is. It's cooking with gas. Actually went down with the XMP. So yeah, that's awesome. Okay. Let's see. Results. Compare results online. And I want to see. All right. So my results. So we got 8020 to 680, and then so a 1650 Super 4GB card on an Intel Core i3-9100F smoked this card by 1500, almost 1600 points. Let's see. Actually, no, even more than that, like 1700 points. 90. Yeah, I got a 9938 out of this on the overclocks. No, 10,000. 10,000 on the overclocks. Alright, and then, yeah, an AMD A10 7850K with an RX 460. Got a 10,622. So, yeah, that's not the best. Oh wait, that was Night Raid. I'm blowing smoke. No, that was Night Raid and Skydiver. So Fire Strike, let's see. Fire Strike. So those are my only most recent ones. I don't have another Fire Strike. So yeah, an i3-9100F and a GTX 1650 Super beats this GTX 680 and a 10600K by about 2,200 points, about 2,200 points. So graphics score on a 1650 Super overclocked is 13,356, and graphics score on my GTX 680 is 8,626. Even though they both have 4GB of RAM, although the 1650 Super is 4GB of GDR6 right now, and this is GDR5. All right. I think that's about all the tinkering I'm going to do with the GTX 680. We know that we know about what we're capable of. So I'm going to clean the drivers, even though these drivers should technically work with the 690. I think it's better to uninstall and reinstall them again. Just so it's clean. For those two of you who've been in and out the whole time, I do greatly appreciate you sticking around and listening to my ramblings. Even if it's just to get my views up and you've got me muted in the background, that's cool too. I know one of you's probably was waiting for the cat, who's right here, by the way. I don't know if you can see the cat. Yeah. Probably was waiting on the cat to like jump up onto this whole situation I got going on right here and wreck everything. That's probably going to be the best YouTube content I'll ever make. She hasn't done it yet though. So let's just keep going with that vibe right now. Display driver, run as administrator, GPU, clean and shut down. She hasn't destroyed anything yet. She's been, I would say, she's always pretty bad. So she's being about normal levels of bad right now. Alright, so I'm going to clean this up. I got the 690 hooked up, ready to go. I didn't check for leaks. Let me check for leaks real fast here. Well, we don't have it on the... Curious about that sound. What is happening there, Cat? She definitely wants to know about whatever this card is doing. Alright, that seems to be working satisfactorily. No leaks to report. No leaks at the hot hose barbs, no leaks at the ports. Yes, no leaks. Alright. So let's get our GTX 680 out of here. Actually really pleased with that 680's performance overall. It took a decent overclock, no problem. Ran Firestrike with no issue. Yeah, pretty happy with that. It is toasty. I mean, not unbearably so, but yeah, it's warm for sure. It's not a big deal though. I mean, that's what GPUs do. They get warm. Okay, can I get this behemoth on this motherboard without covering it in water? That's really my only objective for this stream, is to get these cards on and off of the motherboard without leaking water all over them. If I get any kind of benchmark data in the meantime, that's a win. That is a win. All right, so this takes two 8-pin connectors. Hello, cat. You found a screw. Oh, she loves screws. Well, they're so fun to bat around all over the place. Yep, there it goes. All right, two 8-pin connectors. Water not shooting at my computer. The water will not be shooting at the... I need like a weight or something to weigh these things down with. Okay, that seems to be okay. Okay, I got flow. Not max flow. We're not gonna go for broke here just yet. Take the AC adapter out of here for now. Okay. Switch the power supply back on and power it up. Uh-oh. I don't have graphic output. Wait 1 second. Let me go get my bundle of cables. Figure out if I got something that'll work for this. Okay. All right, Cap. I need this chair. So it looks like that's all running. So that's a mini display port, I think, which is what I need. So yeah, this is mini display port to display port. I think that will get us where we need to go. This card's got one mini DP out. Cat, don't play with the cords. These are not your cords. And let's see. Display port is here. Yep. Okay. Do I have anything? We'll try it again. This video card is also like untested, like until recently. Looks like it's gonna put a display out, signal, some port. There's no GOP graphics output protocol support detected in this graphics card. All right. I don't know what's going on, why this card would work and why the 680 would work and the 690 wouldn't. must first disable the secure boot feature in the system's BIOS before installing the graphics card. Can I get into BIOS with this card? Let me get into BIOS. That's weird. It's like that. It's like this 680. Okay. So it's like the 680. The cat is just having a field day with a water cooling fitting in the middle, or a screw, I guess, in the middle of some bottles on the floor there. So it's like the 680 has support for UEFI BIOS, but the 690 doesn't, and that doesn't make any kind of sense to me right now. But you know, like whatever. I don't. Just remove these for now. Please don't get water on my power supply cables. Okay, so evidently a 680 will run on this no problem, but I need to go in. Let me see if this will boot up into I'm going to use those vaunted Intel integrated graphics. Not something that I enjoy at all, using integrated graphics, but you know, desperate times, folks. All right. Let's see. Security. No. All right, I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be back. Okay, so where we're at here, GTX 680. Just so you guys can see the cat, but she's gone. Oh my god! All right, so GTX 680, this guy right here, GTX 680 4 gig version, no problem. Boots right up into Windows, runs. I mean, about as well as you could expect. What are we at? 7, 9, 10, 20, 30. A five generation old GPU to run. Did fine, actually. You know, and it's not like the cleanest specimen of GTX 680 I've ever seen. It probably could withstand a repaste and some new thermal pads and just a general board cleanup. So that ran fine, but the HD 6970 would not boot into Windows, and the GTX 690, which is basically the exact same card as a 680, just two of them on one card, would not boot into Windows. And I don't know what to do about it. So I found one thing that said set secure boot to disabled, which it is. And if there's an option, set CSM or compatibility or legacy mode to enabled. Which I do not. PCIe, no. Latency timer. I do not know what I can do to yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to get this to work. All right, well, until I get that bit of dark arcane wizardry fixed, there's really not a whole lot of point in continuing this live stream because literally 1 out of 3 of the GPUs I was going to use on this platform work or are supported right now. So I don't know if that means that these are old mining cards and their BIOSes have had the output disabled or what. But yeah, I'm going to probably wind up putting the little R7 250 back in there, putting these on the accessory or the second PCIe riser and trying to flash a new BIOS onto basically 3 of these cards while running freaking water through a loop on my sink. Wish me luck, I guess. Alright, well, on that terrible disappointment, we are going to close out this live stream.